In this video, I'm going to be talking about the 5 things that completely changed my life. These things play a crucial role to shape the character that I am today. I'm 34 now, and compared to my 20s, I'm so much more confident in my abilities. I know who I am, and I know what I want from life. Hi, if you're new here, I'm Jeremy. I'm a doctor from Germany. Let's get into the video. Being very open in communication. I wasn't always like this, and to be honest, that probably goes back to my upbringing. Both of my parents are Filipino, and the way I was raised was to be very polite to my parents, and generally to people who are older than me. And in addition to that, I'm the youngest of 3 siblings, so I was used to just follow along. I was raised to not talk back to my uncles and aunties, even if they are wrong, because it is seen as very impolite. And this way of communicating carries on into your adulthood. But the major change started when I started working as a doctor. Let me tell you, this job will push you to your physical and mental limits. The first few years were crazy hard. And by doing the work, you are kind of forced to make vital decisions for your patients every single day. And sometimes you have to make these decisions on the spot. And by doing this over and over, you get conditioned to be very clear, to be very precise in your words that you use. You learn to not waste time because these people depend on it, right? And this behavior carried into my everyday life. So for example, telling people crystal clear in certain situations that you don't feel comfortable in proceeding when they try to peer pressure you into things. Today I'm very direct and open in my communication. I don't beat around the bush and I speak my mind, not to the extent where I don't care about other people's feelings or just to hurt them. But for example, I know that my friends take my advice very seriously because they know I will tell them what they need to hear, not what they want to hear. In the end, I want the best for them, right? And going a bit further, it is way easier for me today to communicate my feelings. Talking about how I feel, be it good or bad, didn't come natural to me. Telling my parents I love them, or so simple as telling my friends that I missed them, is easier today than 10 years ago. Maybe all of this comes natural to you, but it certainly wasn't for me. And I think this has made my relationship stronger, because when you really know yourself, it helps others understand and relate to you more easily. Another thing that I want to mention here is finding purpose. While it wasn't a real change in my life because I went from school to uni straight into medicine, I remember when I was in school, I worked at a hardware store, putting in cement powder and paint back into the shelves, watching through screwdrivers and all that jazz. And let me tell you, I hated every single second of it. I just did it to get my 400 euros at the end of the month. Every time I knew I had to work, I had no motivation at all. I felt really bad for myself. I can remember so vividly how I started counting the minutes the moment I clocked in. I cannot imagine having a job where I don't see meaning behind the things that I'm doing. When I was younger, I either wanted to become a teacher or a doctor. So working with people and helping people is something that I truly value. We all spend so much time on our jobs. Even if I do a lot of unpaid overtime, and that is the case across hospitals of Germany in general, you need something you can hold on to when you are feeling stressed and exhausted. Not everything has to be fun, even if it is your dream job. There will be always stuff that you don't want to do. It is work after all. But if you're feeling the way I felt when I was in school, I highly encourage you to head in the right direction. It is your life and only you have the power to change it. Spending more time in nature. I don't know about you, but I live in a bigger city. And yes, it has many perks living in an area with a lot of people. You have a good public transportation system, even though Germany could be better. You can order food just with a click of an app. And you can get an Uber anywhere you want to go. But at the same time, it can get overwhelming when you just walk through the city with so many people around you. That's why I like to spend time in nature, especially on vacation. When I'm out hiking and I have the sounds of nature surrounding me, that's where I find a lot of stillness, especially when I'm solo traveling. It is my way of taking breaks. I'm an introvert and I'm always up on my own thoughts. When I'm surrounded by nature, I get into this state of deep thinking. What do I want from my life? Are the things I do in everyday life getting me closer to where I want to be? Is the thing that I'm chasing still relevant to this day? Are my actions reflecting the person that I want to be? Because sometimes you can be so busy grinding all the time that you are just using momentum to push forward. At least I am. But if the goal changes, you don't see that you push in the wrong direction. And by being in nature and going into this meditative state, I'm regaining a lot of clarity and focus. Being productive can of course come from being disciplined, putting your emotions aside and getting your mind and body into a state where it's doing what you want to do. And to master this skill is really helping and pushing forward. But the more easy way to do it is to be inspired. I get a lot of inspiration from books. That's why I try to read 1 book a week. I mostly read self-development books, but it doesn't have to be. And if that certain spark hits, I get the huge urge to put the things I just learned into practice. You learn how to be productive, how to better communicate, how to live a better life, and how to be fearless. And this ultimately inspired me to put myself out there to create content online. It led me to not be scared by the consequences, to go out of my comfort zone, to lean into my creative persona. Another aspect that is playing a huge part of my life is essentialism. Have you ever found yourself in a situation and thought to yourself, how did I even get here? Why did I agree to go out to this event even though I rather would have stayed at home? Essentialism is the idea of focusing on what's truly important to you and letting go of what's unnecessary. It's about being intentional with your choices, so you spend your time and energy on what adds the most value. By eliminating distractions or unnecessary tasks, you simplify your life. By concentrating on doing fewer things, you try to do them better with more intention. Essentialism is helping me to put everything into perspective, to focus on the things that are important to me, and to say no to things that don't align with my values, to know that it's okay to say no. When you start standing up for yourself, you feel empowered and you start to feel more confident in your decision making. It is okay to say no to meetings or gatherings that you don't want to attend. It is okay to say no to alcohol because you don't feel like you have to fit in. It is okay to quit that relationship with some friends because you realize that these relationships are toxic and they only drain your energy. It is truly liberating to realize that it's okay to confidently say no. If you want to know more about essentialism, I highly recommend this book right here. It kind of changed my life. If you're feeling somewhat lost and need some guidance, I have this video for you right here. I hope you're doing well. I hope you learned something. Be sure to like and subscribe. And I'll see you next time. Jeremy Tuesday. Peace.